Richard Horner or Jim Pressel? Who is the pro-gun candidate in House District 20? Stay tuned, guys. We're going to break it down for you right now. Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with the Indiana Firearms Coalition. Everyone knows the primary is almost here, and for a lot of gun owners, the question right now is who is the pro-gun candidate between incumbent state rep Jim Pressel versus his challenger Richard Horner. Guys, it's northern Indiana, almost up against the border. LaPorte and Stark counties, or portions of both of those counties, hardcore gun country. And the question from gun owners, as always in a primary, is who is the pro-gun champion? Who is the pro-gun hero? Who is the pro-gun fighter? Because we got a whole state legislature filled full of so-called pro-gun Republicans who say they're pro-gun at election time and then knife us right in the back once they're in Indy. Who's going to fight for our gun rights, guys? We have the answer for you in this video. So what we do here at IFC after session adjourns is we compile everything we know about these candidates to give you guys these snapshots on how they might vote on your gun rights. We use vote histories, we use public statements made on their website or at campaign events, and our candidate survey to give you guys this information. So this is one of those good news, bad news situations. So first, the good news. Richard Horner, who is the challenger in this race, surveyed with the Indiana Firearms Coalition 100% pro-gun. And what that means, in short, is that all the gun control bills, he opposes them, and all the pro-gun bills he would not only vote for. Richard Horner has promised to lead the fight, to champion the fight for gun rights by sponsoring pro-gun bills if elected to the Indiana House. Specifically, we asked him, where are you on the gun registry? The universal background check bill, it was all the rage this session in Indy. Are you a yes vote or are you a no vote? Horner says he's 100% opposed to a gun registry. The same question on the AR-15 ban. Are you a yes or a no? He's a complete no. And by the way, guys, you can see our entire survey and all the results on our website at indianafirearmscoalition.org. But it's not unusual for Republican candidates to say they're not going to support gun control. We expect that. The question is, who will lead the charge? So then we asked Richard Horner, what about the Second Amendment Preservation Act? We call it SAPA law for short. SAPA is pretty simple. It asserts state sovereignty, and it tells the Biden White House that you can pass gun control through Congress or mandate it, this tyranny, through executive orders, but we're not going to enforce that crap here in Indiana. If you want to do it, bring in your own federal authorities, but Indiana cops will only enforce Indiana law when it comes to firearms, ammunition, and accessories. It's the hottest thing right now in red state gun politics. Richard Horner supports it, and he would sponsor that bill. The same thing for repealing red flag laws. This is a big issue. Everyone knows it. It's terrible to admit it, but we're one of the only 2 or 3 Republican-led states that have red flag gun seizures on the books. And we all know what that means. Someone who doesn't like you can call in a complaint that you might be dangerous, and then your guns can be confiscated before you've ever been convicted of anything in a court of law. You would have more due process rights if you were charged with speeding on the interstate than when your gun rights are on the line, because in a red flag hearing, you learn about it after it's all said and done. It's disgusting. It's the law here in Indiana, and Richard Horner says he'll help us repeal red flag laws by sponsoring that bill if elected to the Indiana House. A very strong statement. Finally, we asked Richard Horner, do you support preemption law? This is a real problem right now here in Indianapolis. We have a lot of Democrats who are whispering to the Republicans, the rhinos, saying, hey, the problem with violent crime in Indy is you guys made things too loose with constitutional carry. You guys won't let us ban AR-15s. You guys won't let us register firearms. And the big push last session in the Senate in particular was a bill to gut our preemption law. And if that happens, every city, every county in the state could have their own gun control laws. And we've already seen what that looks like in Indy. They passed a city ordinance a year and a half ago that would automatically become effective if we ever gut preemption law. It bans ARs, it bans so-called high-capacity magazines, it registers firearms. It's terrible. It's terrible. Thank God Richard Horner supports our preemption law as it is. So guys, in short, Richard Horner, 100% pro-gun. We're very proud and happy to acknowledge his excellent candidate survey. But I told you, this is a good news, bad news video. So that was the good news. Here's the bad news. So Jim Pressel has been in office since 2016, and with only one exception that we are aware of, he's been an utter and complete disappointment, and that's being very nice, it's being very generous to gun owners. In fact, he's been stabbing us in the back, voting for gun control time and time again. So let's break it down for you. First, Jim Pressel will not complete his Indiana Firearms Coalition candidate questionnaire. And again, in our experience, when a candidate won't put their views in writing, a lot of times it means they're hiding something. Either it means they don't want to get caught in a lie if they've backed gun control previously, or for a non-incumbent, they're likely planning to vote harmful to our gun rights if put back into power. So we can't give you a final answer as to why Jim Pressel won't survey, but when a candidate won't do that, especially in a primary, when he won't tell gun voters where he stands on our gun rights in a primary, it's a very, very dangerous sign. So number one, he won't survey. But number two, Jim Pressel is desperately hoping that gun voters in this district forget that he voted to expand the state's red flag gun seizure law. I told you we have one of only 3 states now, red states, I believe, that have passed red flags. That happened way back in 2005. But just a couple of years ago, our pro-gun Republicans, heavy sarcasm intended, expanded red flag gun seizures even more. And Jim Pressel joined House Democrats in making that happen. So as other Republicans voted no right here in our state, as other states around us are stopping red flags or trying to ban and block red flags, Jim Pressel joins up with the damn Democrats and the worst rhinos in the House to expand red flag laws even worse. And again, as always, don't take my word for it. You can look it up for yourself. The roll call, the roll call vote was number 146. The date is February 12, 2019 at 3:11 p.m. You can look it up. You can see it online. It's disgusting stuff. And Pressel, to this day, will not apologize for that. And now he's hoping that we all forget about it. We're not going to let it go, Jim, here at the Indiana Firearms Coalition. But that's not the only time that Jim Pressel totally attacked our gun rights and stabbed us in the back. Just last year, 2023, as we were working to advance the Second Amendment Preservation Act in Indy, which, by the way, Jim Pressel refused to co-sponsor SAPA law last year. Don't forget that. He wouldn't do it. He was asked. He wouldn't do it. So as we were doing that, the Democrats decide, you know what? We want to sap all the wind out of the sails of gun owners. We want to take away the momentum to expand gun rights here in Indy. So they come up with a gun control bill that would ban Glock triggers in Indiana. Now, what does that mean? A Glock trigger mounts on the back of a Glock, on the back of the slide, and it turns that handgun, the semi-automatic handgun, into functionally a machine gun. It functions like a machine gun, full auto. That's what it does. So the Democrats all say, it's already illegal federally. You already can't own them. But what if we try to pass this gun control bill and just suck all the energy out of the gun issue right now in Indy? And that's what they did. So again, I want to be clear. It's already illegal by federal law. Shouldn't be. It's not even a law. It's an order from the ATF. It's totally unconstitutional. But so as Republicans are trying to expand gun rights, the conservatives, this guy links up with the Dems and he votes to make it a crime at the state level to possess this trigger. Again, duplicitous. We didn't even need it. And it was all designed to harm our gun rights by taking away the energy we were developing in Indy. Absolutely disgusting, unforgivable crap from Jim Pressel. Again, Don't take my word for it. Look it up for yourself. The date was April 3. This is last year, 2023. Roll call vote number 343, and the time is 2:44 p.m. So every time gun voters need Jim Pressel to help us, what does he do? He votes to expand red flags, and then he votes with the Democrats to pass an unneeded trigger ban, which only served to harm our overall efforts in the state capitol. And now he won't survey and tell us where he stands. Would he vote on SEPA? We don't know, because Jim Pressel is refusing to answer that question. How about AR-15 bans or preemption? Would he vote to protect or blow up preemption law? We don't know, because again, Jim Pressel will not answer the survey. But given his record, given his actual votes, it's a real problem. Now, I'll tell you this. If you talk to Jim Pressel, he's going to say, I'm pro-gun. I voted for constitutional carry. And you know what? It's true. And we're going to give you guys all the facts. Did he vote for constitutional carry? Yes. Did he and his rhino allies drag that fight out for years longer than necessary? Yes. And so just because he voted one time on one pro-gun bill after they killed it for years and years in a row does not mean he did not also back all kinds of gun control initiatives in the state capitol. And frankly, if you know Jim, you guys know this, that's the face of a weasel. It's just the way it is. He's never been helpful to gun owners, and his votes reflect that. So guys, again, if you're in LaPorte or Starr County and you see Richard Horner, thank him for surveying 100% pro-gun with the Indiana Firearms Coalition. Thank him for having the courage to put his views in writing. And if you see Jim Pressel, I'd tell him to apologize for all of his votes for gun control, and then tell him to answer the Indiana Firearms Coalition candidate questionnaire so everybody in District 20 can know exactly where he stands on our God-given right to keep and bear arms. Guys, as always, share this video far and wide on social media. Make sure every gun voter you know in this area is aware of these facts. And then to get more information, go to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel to find breakdowns on other races in your area. Finally, guys, get involved in the fight today at joinifc.com.